What the heck happened in the country the last week with the freaking weather? Finally today, all the snow melted and it was like 68 degrees in Nashville. Yesterday, sub-freezing all day long, snow, ice everywhere. Today, I'm back on the porch, smoking a stogue. I have the vintage bottle of Jack Daniels, which somebody told me was 40 years old. Which, if that's true, it's incredible and it still tastes fantastic. These are fancy. Look at this. It's like a red velvet thingy around the end of it. I'm running out of a good cup, so I'm going to use a tin cup instead, which is, I'm sure it's totally fine. The sculpture that we've been talking about has been taking shape. It's like one of those chainsaw bear sculptures that people are making where they're doing it and you're like, I don't know what's happening, and then all of a sudden you're like, you're making a bear. I can see it. That's a bear. So just for fun, I got out a super heavy spined arrow, a Rampage 150 from Black Eagle. I cut it really, really short, like literally it was right in front of the rest. And I wanted to try the exact same test where I was like, you know what? We saw the 400 spine and how when I increased the point weight and the first one wasn't exactly a perfect bullet hole, like it was pretty close, how it was almost just like it just started to just wedge that thing up and just get worse and worse as the time went on. It was the same thing with the 150 spine. Just because you spine up doesn't give you some sort of out from actually getting perfect arrow flight right out of the bow, because I think that we will find more forgiveness out of the stiffer spine, which we're going to confirm. But the issue is, if you don't have perfect arrow flight, it's still going to tear badly, as I went up from 100 to 200 on this just monster heavy arrow. I thought that it would be different because I thought that the just overall weight of the shaft was going to be more important, and maybe it was more forgiving, but it wasn't enough to overcome the fact that the arrow was still leaving the bow in a bad way. It's going to be a lot of edits in this video because I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this a little bit. Let me tell you about one more small issue that I had. I had gone from a certain size nock that was relatively narrow to a new set of arrows, and the nocks that come on them are really fat, and I like those fat nocks. But when I started shooting them, I was getting a weird tear. And I kind of get consistent tears based on just me knowing how I am and then knowing how I set everything up. I'm getting a consistent tear, and I was getting literally the exact opposite. And no matter what I was doing, I could not get that out. And I thought to myself, this is an actual problem with the setup, with the bow. This is not a me thing. And what was happening was, when I was drawing back, as the string is going from here into that steep V angle, it was clamping down on that heavier nock. And then actually, as I was drawing, the arrow would slightly lift off of the rest and then set back down. And then as I was letting go, I was getting nock pinch, is what they call that. So that's another thing to kind of look out for. If you're having an issue where you're getting one kind of consistent tear and you're not able to get it out, and you're making kind of drastic moves with either the rest or with moving the cams around, nock pinch is another issue that maybe you should look for. And we are going to go through like what D-loop I like and the certain configuration that I like to tie it in to try to kind of avoid it a little bit, give yourself a little bit more forgiveness. The D-loop is funny. If you get that thing really close to the nock end, or if you get it really long, there's some funky issues that can start happening. Even when you switch between one style of release and another one, your impacts downrange, maybe not at 20 yards, not going to be noticeable anyway, but like I was shooting today at 80, and I was noticing between the hinge and the thumb, there was like a 6-inch difference, because one breaks off the left-hand side and one breaks off the right-hand side of the release, like the way the hooks let go. Just random thoughts, keeping stuff in mind. So here's what this week is going to be about. We're going to walk back tune. And this is something that if you've got a bag target, you can do it. If you've got a block style target, a matrix, Morel, whatever you've got, you can do this. I want to set the tone, the mindset for this. You're going to get a cardboard box or a piece of cardboard. You're going to open it up, and I want the thing to probably be like 3 feet long if you can get a 3-foot piece. You're going to then take a piece of duct tape or electrical tape, and you're going to run it straight down the center of the cardboard. At the very top, you're going to take a black Sharpie or some other colored Sharpie. Already out? At the top of the piece of tape, you're going to draw a black circle, probably about the size of a ping pong ball. You're going to then place that ping pong ball portion in the top third of your target. And what you're going to do is you're going to get 6 feet away from your target. You're going to shoot an arrow into it, and you're going to then start slowly stepping back, because we've messed with a whole lot of stuff. And if you haven't shot your bow at distance now, I want to make sure that you're just not instantly shooting in the dirt or over the bag. Worse. You're going to work your way back to 20 yards. Don't change anything on the bow except your sight at this point. You're going to change your sight. And this is the first time we've talked about moving your sight. But you're going to move your sight to get your arrow hitting in that ping pong ball at 20 yards. If you can't hit the ping pong ball at 20 yards and it's a tennis ball, that's fine. If it's a softball, that's fine too. But you want it kind of around that top section of tape. It's fine if you're shooting bigger groups to start, not a problem. The pros in Vegas, these guys that are fantastic shots, are the ones that are shooting a circle that is the size of a ping pong ball, and they will shoot that 90 times in a row, 9-0. The guys that win, 90. That's incredible. It's amazing. We may not be those people. That's why I said this is how to not suck at archery, not how to become an elite archer. You're going to move from 20 back to 30. You're going to use your 20 pin again. Okay, you're going to aim at the ping pong ball again. So your aim point this entire time is not going to change. You're aiming at that ping pong ball at the top of the tape. So after 30, just let that arrow kind of exist where it was. Maybe shoot 3 or 4 so that you've got kind of a trend. And then back up to 40. Aim at the ping pong ball again with your 20 pin. Now at this point, there's a chance that your arrow is starting to travel to the bottom of the bag. Raise the cardboard up on your target. Even if the ping pong ball is up above your target, that's okay. You're now at 40 yards, so you've got a foot of drop. So you're aiming at the ping pong ball, 20-yard pin, your arrow is falling underneath that, maybe a foot. Then you're going to move back to 50, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Again, maybe you have to move the cardboard up, and what you're going to notice at this point, and what you should notice is, you should notice a trend of the way your arrows are moving. Are they moving to the left as they're descending, or are they moving to the right as you're descending, or are they staying right on the tape line? If they're staying right on the tape line, fantastic. So you can kind of see I'm basically just hugging the right-hand side of the tape, and you can see the groups that I've gotten here. I'm being, relatively precise at 30. I'm a hair to the right at 40, hair to the right at 50, and just a hair to the right at 60. So for me, at this stage, this is pretty dang close. That's exactly what we're hoping for, but if they're not, here's how you fix it, and here's what's happening. The arrow is leaving the bow and impacting left. So as you're moving back, it's impacting further left and further left and further left. And this is a tuning issue. It's not your sight. You cannot put your sight in a place that is going to fix this problem. This is an actual tuning issue. Today, we get significantly closer to actually being able to shoot a fixed blade broadhead, because walk back tuning is one way that you're getting that rest just that a little bit. You're making little small movements to get that rest exactly where you want it to be. So now those field points are falling exactly on that line. If you're not capable of hitting the line at 50, I'm with you. I'm there as well. So I will group shoot at 50. And what I'm looking for is my average size group. Is it falling to the left of the tape? Is it falling to the right of the tape? Or am I kind of shooting a group around the tape? So don't worry if you can't shoot a piece of whatever, duct tape or electrical tape at 50. I understand. I'm with you. You're making small changes to your rest position at this point. Small changes. Okay, if you're impacting really horribly, like if it looks like you're building one side of a Christmas tree, this is a problem, and you should back up and you should watch some of the previous videos, because there's a different issue going on here. I've been doing exactly what I've been talking about in these videos with a certain set of arrows. And at this point, I was getting a slight Christmas tree left, but I was backing out to 100. So at 100, I was 6 inches left. At 80, I was 4.5 inches left. And those were my groups. Okay, the way my groups were trending. I'm not hitting a vertical tape at 100. But then I scooch my rest just a little bit, and all of a sudden the magic starts happening where I can move in and out from 20 all the way back to 100, and the shots are grouping right along that tape. So if they're hitting to the left, you're going to move your rest this way. If they're hitting to the right, you're going to move your rest this way. And we're talking small movements. I'm moving mine, especially when I was back at 100, I was literally moving it like a half of a line width. It was such a small movement. I'm sure that there are things that could be cropping up right now that are problems. I've had a couple of guys message me, and they're shooting those really, really like backpack bows, really, really short axle to axle, and they're like, I can't get a bullet hole. And I'm like, I don't think I could either. A really short axle to axle bow is a difficult bow to shoot. It's a very difficult bow to shoot. It's not as forgiving. I think the next video, we're actually going to bare shaft a little bit. Bare shafting is one of those things that is, it's complicated. And honestly, there are days when I can bare shaft really well, and then there are days when I can't. And that's the imperfections in all the shooting system that is my meat sack, and the way it works with my brain. So bare shafting is one of those things where if I feel like I am having a really good day, like today was a really good day, I felt like I was shooting really well, I broke out the bare shaft and I started shooting some, and it went fine, and I was able to kind of hone that system just that much more from the walk back. And then I picked up some broadheads, and then I shot broadheads, and they were doing exactly what they should be, which is what we're going to go through in the next video. So we're really close, like we're almost there. Literally within the next 2 weeks, hopefully we're all shooting fixed blade broadheads, which is amazing. That means we have bows that are like in tune and doing what they're supposed to do. So if you're not getting what you want to get out of your system right now, go ahead and message me on Instagram, and I'll do the best that I can. Again, if I suck less than you do, I am very willing to give you my opinion. It may be wrong, but I am very willing to give it. I have people that I can message and I can ask questions to. I'm always interested in hearing little quirks and things and reasons why people can't get stuff to actually work. But I feel like we have covered a lot of the fundamentals up to this point that should allow you within the next couple of videos here to be knocking down deer with fixed blade broadhead, or elk. Or if you watch the FOC video with Nate Selders that's coming out, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Brandon McDonald.